All right, we'll get started. So my name is Vijay Tiwari, and it's a privilege to represent the Azure Stack team. We have like hundreds of engineers. Unfortunately, not all of them can be here, but it's really a privilege to sort of represent their work here today. And along with me, I have Teebs. Her actual name is
Pratibha. Hi, everyone. I'm Pratibha. I'm a program manager on the Azure Stack team as well. I work on capacity planning, the Azure Stack self-host systems that we use for internal validation purposes, as well as expanding Azure Stack into the healthcare vertical. Thank you, Vijay.
Thanks, Teebs. Really appreciate it. So what we're here today to talk to you about is how to be an Azure Stack operator, right? But before we go there, I'm going to show you a video from, well, I guess not. Hold on. Sorry. So I'm going to show you a video about the city of Drammen in Norway. They're actually using Azure Stack, so just take a look. It's a short video.
If you're applying for a building permit today, it's just like a big hole. You just apply and it's just silence.
The municipality of Drammen, they came to us because they wanted a new cloud-based system for our case management and archiving and digital services for the residents.
My vision for the city is that it should be open, transparent, where the people of Drammen actually can connect to the municipality and have access to data in a new way. When I go online shopping today, I can follow the transactions in every step, and I want the public services to be just as easy as that, where you can follow your own case online. If you're applying for a building permit or a kindergarten space.
The municipality of Drammen is one out of 3 municipalities merging into one big municipality.
That's so funny.
And in 2020, they will be, I think, Norway's 7th largest municipality. As a part of this process, we chose to use Azure Stack because then we can provide Public 360 as a cloud solution. We can support all the requirements and need both during the merge and also after the merge. In the long run, I think Drammen will be the most digital municipality in Norway. And I think that people will look to Drammen and see how they involve and interact with their residents.
It's important for us to get even more connected with the people and making them a co-creator of the city and making it an even greater place to live.
Fascinating. So one of the best parts of being a part of the Azure Stack team is actually seeing how people use Azure Stack in really, really creative ways. So thank you for being a part of our journey with us. And I want to thank Vanessa, who did an incredible job actually working with the city of Drammen and with the folks in Norway to make this happen. So thank you so much, Vanessa. Really appreciate it. All right, so we're going to talk about 2 basic things today. We're going to try and understand what is the impact of the architectural choices that we have made to you as an Azure Stack operator. Now, as a part of that, you're going to get an understanding of the core architectural tenets and principles of Azure Stack, and then we'll talk about how you should think about operating Azure Stack in your data center. Okay? So the first thing is to understand what is Azure Stack and what it is not. It is actually an extension of Azure, and that actually pervades the architectural principles of Azure Stack. And you'll see it pervade in the concept of how it gets used, how it gets built, and everything that pertains to Azure Stack has its roots in Azure, and that's an important facet to understand. The second thing to understand that it's about consistency between Azure and Azure Stack. The journey for Azure Stack actually started for us in 2013, or actually even before that, when we first released this notion of Windows Azure Pack. The idea there was to say, how can we bring cloud to the customer's premises? Because we have known from very early days that, look, every customer has their own journey of how they actually adopt the cloud. Some are going to be able to go to the public cloud for some of their applications. There are very legitimate reasons why customers will not be able to adopt it in the public cloud format, and they'll need it on their oil rigs. They'll need it in their data centers. They'll need it in aircrafts. They'll need it in ships. And so for that reason, we've been on a passionate journey to figure out how do we bring the cloud to you. So we started with Windows Azure Pack, manifested itself as a hardware-software appliance called Cloud Platform System, did a second version of Cloud Platform System, and then as a part of that, we learned that, look, in order to bring the cloud to you, we actually have to go deeper in terms of the architectural tenets to actually bring Azure to you. And that was the birth and genesis of Azure Stack. And so we've been working on Azure Stack now since about 2015, launched the product in 2017, and we are here 1 year later. So what you'll hear from us today is what we have learned in this journey, and I'll try and give you some anecdotes from our learnings without naming some of the customers, but it's a lot of fun to actually talk about that and what we have learned. So important to understand, it's about consistency. And consistency means the way you consume Azure using the portal, the way you consume Azure using the tenant APIs, the way you use Azure using the command line, that is how you interact with Azure or Azure Stack. That's what consistency means. And what you actually see here are two pictures. The one on the left, this one is the Azure portal, and the one on the right is the Azure Stack tenant portal. What I'm trying to reflect here is that when you log into the Azure Stack portal, you're interacting with a dedicated instance of Azure Resource Manager and the Azure portal that runs on that Azure Stack stamp. It can run when it is connected to Azure, but it can also run when it is completely disconnected from Azure. You can cut the wire of Azure Stack from Azure, and you'll still have Azure in your data center. But there are important decisions you have to make upfront to make that work, but that is the design point of Azure Stack. Okay? So this picture, while it's not a true architectural picture, it is trying to help you understand how do we look at Azure, right? So if you look at Azure, Azure runs in about 54 regions in the world. We have a very prescribed set of hardware that we run in our data center. We actually literally design our own hardware, and then we have people who actually fulfill and implement that hardware in our data centers. And then we've got massive automation that actually deploys the underlying fabric of Azure. And then on top of that, each of the Azure services team layer their services on top of that underlying deployed fabric. And then it is exposed to you as customers using Azure Resource Manager and the portal. And through that, you can actually modular applications in a JSON-based declarative language, which allows you to basically say, my application consists of the following resources, the following networks, the following firewalls, the following load balancers, and it stitches all of them together. And then Azure Resource Manager can actually interact with each of the underlying resources, realize a manifestation of that application, and then give you an object which allows you to actually control that application, right? That is what Azure is. On the Azure Stack side, we have the same pattern of interaction with Azure Stack. You have PowerShell, you have command line, you have the web-based experience, which layers on top of the services that exist on Azure Stack. But after that, as you go lower down below the cloud infrastructure layer, is where Azure Stack is subtly different from Azure. And it has to be different, because in Azure, a cluster, what we call a cluster in Azure, is about 800 servers. Right? If I were to tell you as a customer, yeah, absolutely, I'll give you Azure in your data center, but you have to buy 800 servers to actually get Azure in your data center. This session on a Friday morning will have maybe just Thebes and myself. I doubt if Vanessa would also come here to actually listen to us, because none of you would be able to be in a position to actually buy 800 servers in one shot and say, I'm going to give it a shot. So Azure Stack, the underlying platform architecture, is subtly different to make sure that we can start at a design point and size that makes sense for you as a customer, right? And therefore, the underlying design implementation choices, the way we use our networking, the way we implement the underlying fabric is different from Azure. But the intent on the top part of the stack is to make sure that when you interact with Azure Stack, that interaction pattern has no change from Azure. But the underlying design choices that we have made, the underlying hardware that we use, is actually very different from what it is in Azure. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how is Azure Stack delivered to you, right? So Azure Stack is delivered as an integrated system. And it's delivered as an appliance by all the partners that we have listed here. And as some gentleman was mentioning here, we also have announced Fujitsu as a partner for Azure Stack, right? So when you want to buy Azure Stack, you basically walk up to one of these partners and say, hey, I want to actually buy an Azure Stack system. Can you tell me what options you have? And the partners will then work with you to actually size and design a system of the appropriate size that meets your requirements. The value of getting it as an integrated system is that you don't have to worry about building the cloud. You have to only worry about how are you going to use the cloud, right? And it is our responsibility with the hardware partners to make sure that we will come, or rather the hardware partner will come and deploy Azure Stack in your data center. And what I'm here to tell you is that if we do our jobs right and you do the pre-work that's required, the actual deployment time of Azure Stack in your data centers is less than a week. But that requires you to be diligent and make sure that you've done your homework, and you will actually be really successful. You'll find that the hardware partners can go in and out of your data centers less than a week if you do the right amount of work upfront to actually get all the information to them, right? And thereafter, you can then focus on actually using Azure Stack to provide value to your business. The next thing is, like I said, Azure Stack is Azure, so its primary business model is pay as you consume. That means after you've deployed Azure Stack, and if you don't deploy any VMs from a user perspective on Azure Stack, you won't get a bill. There's no licensing cost. However, once you start deploying VMs, you'll get a monthly bill which tells you that from an Azure perspective, you consume the following services, and your Azure Stack bill for the month happens to be so many euros or so many dollars or whatever the local currency happens to be, right? However, I told you about the fact that Azure Stack has to be able to work in an environment which is completely disconnected. So we have another business model for Azure Stack, which is called the capacity model. That is a model that you use if you do not want to connect to the internet and do not want to send billing information to Azure. And that's called the capacity model. However, it is important to recognize you still need an Azure subscription even for the capacity model. Even though your individual stamp does not need to connect to Azure, however, you can need to go to a laptop or a different machine and use that subscription to register even a capacity model Azure Stack instance. Okay? And the last thing is the support model for Azure Stack, right? It is an appliance, so we work incredibly hard with our hardware partners to make sure that you don't get caught up in the ping pong, whether it's a hardware issue or whether it's a software issue. You have an issue, you're more than welcome to pick up the phone and call any one of us, either us or the hardware partner. And we will make sure that between the both of us, we will resolve the issue and get to the root cause and make sure that you're not left hanging, right? A metaphorical model that I would give you is when you buy a SAN, you don't worry about all the ingredient constitutes that constitute a SAN. The storage vendor has done that for you. Think of Azure Stack as that model. Between us and the hardware partner, we have done all the work so that you don't have to face the worry about validation and so on and so forth. Okay? So I want to delve in a little more about what the co-engineering actually looks like behind the scenes. But before we go there, let's talk a little bit about what an Azure Stack instance actually looks like. So the picture on this slide is a very simplified view of the smallest Azure Stack system that you can buy. The smallest Azure Stack system will consist of 4 servers, and the server, it's a hyper-converged architecture. And what I mean by hyper-converged is that it includes disks in the servers adequate enough to actually create a storage subsystem, okay? And then you have a hardware lifecycle host. The hardware lifecycle host is where the hardware partner runs some key software which allows them to manage the hardware infrastructure, like monitoring of the hardware, interacting with the BMCs, monitoring of the switches, correct? And then you have 3 switches, 2 leaf switches and a BMC switch. And so that is the boundary of Azure Stack. So when you buy Azure Stack, you get, at the minimum, you get the 4 servers, you get 1 HLH, and you get 3 switches, right? Now this is a prototypical architecture. There are some hardware partners whose architecture may look slightly different, But the meta point I'm trying to make is that from an Azure Stack perspective, storage, compute, and network are included as a part of the Azure Stack system. Okay? Those border devices belong to the customer. And the way we interface with your border devices is using actually a layer 3 BGP or static route approach. And we ask you to actually give us a certain set of network space, which we actually consume, which allows us to create the VIP spaces that we use inside Azure Stack to be able to provide to the externally facing Azure services and workloads that you will deploy on top of Azure Stack. Okay? So this architecture, we've actually done a lot of work with, which actually there's an architecture spec that we provide to all our hardware partners. And then they use that architecture spec and actually provide implementations that match that architecture spec. So Dell, for example, has gone through and come back and said, we'll actually build an Azure Stack system which works with the R740. HP has said, I'll use the DL380, right? And so on and so forth. Each of the hardware partners have actually come back with implementation choices that manifest the architecture that we have actually laid down from one of these partners. And then what we do is, we provide a lot of automation which actually deploys Azure Stack on top of that hardware system, right? And then each of the hardware partners has to do what is called as continuous validation on that system. And they actually, we have an online service called Validation as a Service that we make available to our hardware partners, and they run that service against the Azure Stack system to make sure that it conforms to the architecture and meets the minimum bar that we have laid down jointly as what's required for an Azure Stack system, right? In addition to that, like I said, we have to provide you the tools so that you as customers can operate Azure Stack in your data center. So there is actually an inbuilt monitoring system in Azure Stack which monitors the software of Azure Stack. That does not yet include monitoring of the physical hardware, other than disks. It does not include the monitoring of the BMC, monitoring of the switches. That's where the hardwares each have unique software and unique value that they bring as a part of their solutions, which generally tends to run on the HLH or in some cases on the switch, and it allows you to actually operate the entire infrastructure from a hardware perspective. In addition to that, we have to make sure that if hardware fails, that hardware can be replaced in the field without disruption to your software. We have to make sure that we provide you a solution for you to be able to patch the entire system while it is running. That's what the patch and update functionality is. And later in the talk, I'll go into a little more depth of how exactly we actually make that functionality work. Since it's going to be used in mission-critical systems, we wanted to make sure that you have a comprehensive business continuity and disaster recovery story. And so Teebs actually will talk to you later about how we think about business continuity in the context of Azure Stack. The important thing to recognize in business continuity is that we think of it in two distinct planes. You have to think about the business continuity plan for what's running in the user space, the workloads that the customer is running, and you have to think about the underlying infrastructure and what is your business continuity plan for the underlying infrastructure. It is important to recognize the distinction and separation between these two planes. It will keep coming up over and over again and in the way our Azure Stack is implemented and architected. Okay, and then last thing, because it is an appliance, we have taken on the responsibility to make sure that the security posture of Azure Stack is robust and meets the highest and strictest compliance standards. In fact, very recently, we have been able to provide guidance to customers on how they can actually get FedRAMP High compliance. The FedRAMP High is the highest level of compliance that can be provided to service providers who want to offer service to the United States government, right? So I'll talk a little bit about some of the other architectural choices we made from a security perspective to make sure that your infrastructure is not or is robust from a security standpoint. Okay? So the first thing I wanted to get through is a couple of announcements that I wanted to make for work that has started. So I wanted to share with you that we have started working on actually bringing N-series VMs to Azure Stack. Now, for those of you who use Azure, the N-series VMs are the VMs that actually use or provide GPUs, and both from a compute standpoint as well as for a visualization standpoint. And so in Azure, we actually use NVIDIA GPUs to actually provide N-series. And so we will bring the same functionality of N-series VMs with NVIDIA GPUs in Azure Stack, both from a compute standpoint and from a visualization standpoint. Okay? The next thing I wanted to share is that we are announcing the functionality for you to be able to get an Azure Stack system of up to 16 servers. And the good news is that all of our partners are right there with us. So it's thrilling to see that all of our partners now have the ability to actually provide multi-node systems with up to 16 servers. And if you are a customer who already has 8, 12, or 4 servers, you now have the ability to expand up to 16 servers as well. Okay? So before we do anything else, I want to make sure that you believe me, so I'm going to show you a demo of a 16-node Azure Stack system. Excellent. Now you will see me going through trying to log in. All right. Remember IE? Hello? So what I'm actually doing is I'm VPNing back into one of our labs. Okay, I guess not. Or I'm trying to VPN back into one of our labs. Sorry? Yeah, it's fine. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I apologize for this, but the VPN connection drops. This is not recommended on normal sites. Don't do that. And this is not an advertisement for F5 either. That just happens to be the devices that we use inside our labs. Thank you. Excellent. There we go. Well, almost there. Yay. All right. So if we finally log in, you'll actually see me. So this is the Azure Stack Administrative Portal. I'll walk through the portal a little later. But let's just start with taking a look at the actual cluster itself, right? So let's start with compute. I beg your pardon. Actually, so let's just start with capacity first. So I first want to show you the amount of capacity that you're getting on a 16-server system. So the total amount of physical storage available is about 0.5 petabyte worth of usable storage on a 16-node system. You've got close to 10.5 gigabytes of usable memory on this system. Generally, when you actually deploy VMs on an Azure Stack system, the constraining factor ends up being the total amount of physical memory, right? So that ends up being sort of generally the biggest constraining factor. And just to make sure that it is actually true, I'm going to actually go to the cluster, and you'll actually see that this actually does have 16 servers, right? So this is a pretty powerful system, and if you actually go and see the number of cores, just think through in your mind, this is close to 1,800 physical cores, about close to 11 gigabytes of physical memory, and half a petabyte of storage. And now think about what kind of workloads in your data center do you think you'll be able to bring to this particular system. So really powerful system. So we are thrilled to work with our partners and bring you a 16-server system in your data center. All right, I'm done with VPN. I don't need any more VPN access, at least for this demo. All right, let's go back. That was my backup, which I don't need now. All right, so let's talk a little bit about topologically, how is Azure Stack laid out, right? So the previous picture was a fairly simple picture. This picture actually goes into a little more details. So the way it actually works is, like I said, you have 4 servers with storage, you have a hardware lifecycle host, you have leaf switches. The way these servers are connected up into your leaf switches is actually they are configured with RDMA. From a technology standpoint, our storage stack is actually built on storage spaces direct, right? So that's how we actually aggregate all the physical disks that lie in the storage and can actually create pools of storage using a pure software-defined storage technology called Storage Spaces Direct that's included in Windows Server. And in order to get the most optimal performance for a Storage Spaces Direct stack, we actually use RDMA, which is connected from the servers up to the leaf switches. The BMC switch is a singleton and wires up all the BMCs that exist on the servers so that you have access to the physical BMCs, which is what we use when we actually do bare metal deployment of these physical servers. Okay? And the leaf switches are then connected to your border devices, preferably using BGP. But if you don't have BGP in your network, we can actually use static routes as well, right? So our interface to your border devices or your network is only through these links from the leaf switches to those using BGP. Internally, how we handle the software-defined network is handled entirely by Azure Stack. And the only addresses that will percolate out will be the VIP address space that you have given us when we actually deploy Azure Stack for you. Okay? And then you actually see the workloads. The ones in blue are the Azure Stack software. So we commingle the Azure Stack software and the user workloads on the same underlying infrastructure, right? And so a question that we get often is, how much capacity does the Azure Stack software itself take up on a stamp? Approximately about 1 server worth of capacity, right? But that's a very approximate term. The right way to get this answer is to actually look at the sizing capacity tool, which will give you all the details on how to actually get the exact number that you can use from a usable space perspective. And then you basically have ARM and Portal, which allows you to actually deploy these workloads on this system. So this is what one scale unit looks like. I've talked about what we've done from scale to be able to get you to 16. And I've already indicated up on our SharePoint website, which talks about we are already in development for what is called as a multi-scale unit. So what I'm going to share with you right now is how will that multi-scale unit come to be when we actually make that available to you, all right? So first thing we'll do is, it will involve downtime for your workloads when a second scale unit has to be brought down. And downtime doesn't mean that the workloads have to be deleted. The stamp will more than likely have to be shut down when we actually add the second scale unit, right? Then we'll actually bring in the second scale unit and we'll introduce an additional layer of switches on top called spine switches, right? So previously, your boundary of Azure Stack was the three switches plus the servers. Now the boundary of Azure Stack integrated system will include the spine switches as well, right? So you can't use your own spine switches. They will be included as a part of the solution that the hardware provider works with you to bring into your data center, right? So the way you could have started is, your first scale unit could have started with 4. you could have expanded that up to 16 servers, and then realized that you don't have enough capacity to land on that one scale unit. And so then you bring in the second scale unit, which can again start at 4 and grow all the way up to 16. Make sense? The other interesting thing you should note is that there is no hardware lifecycle host in the second scale unit. So the hardware lifecycle host will be one which will be shared by multiple scale units. Okay? And the last thing I want to point out is that previously your border connectivity was from your top of rack switches or the leaf switches to the border devices. Now that connectivity will come from the spine switches. And the top of rack switches will connect up into the spine switches, and then we'll configure cross-rack RDMA through the spine switches so that the storage traffic that transcends from one scale unit to the other does actually use RDMA. However, each of these scale units is its own independent cluster, right? What I mean by that is that internally when we do patch and update, which I'll talk a little later, we treat each scale unit as an independent unit when it comes to how we patch and update it and so on and so forth. Okay? And then we'll actually bring the workloads back up. The important thing that you see here is first your workloads can actually be on both the first scale unit as well as the second scale unit. However, the Azure Stack software, the software that we run, which is ARM, Portal, all of that will just stay on the first scale unit. Make sense? Now, over time, we will get better and we'll improve and we'll actually make the Azure Stack software also distribute across the two scale units. But initially, when we launch, our goal is to provide you scalability so that you can actually have more capacity. So that software will reside only on the first scale unit. And we anticipate rolling out multi-scale unit throughout calendar year 19. We'll start with a preview initially and then GA this functionality in calendar year 19. Make sense? All right. So now that we've gone through some of the basic elements of the topology and architecture, let's talk about what is your role as an Azure Stack operator. But before we do that, let's first understand what it means in the context of Azure. So in Azure, you as customers or consumers walk up to the portal and you actually consume Azure from there. But on the back end, it is Microsoft engineers who are actually operating Azure for you. They are the ones who got their hands on the keyboard, right? In the case of Azure Stack, it is important to recognize that certainly your customers can consume Azure Stack, but the responsibility of Azure Stack is yours. It is not a managed system by Microsoft. We certainly provide you all the tooling and all the software so you can operate it as optimally with the least amount of friction and the least amount of burden to you, but it is your responsibility to operate Azure Stack. Right? A number of customers sort of walk up to us and say, well, what's the point of giving me Azure Stack if you're going to operate it? And we have to clarify, no, we do not have any visibility into your stack. You operate it, so the software is given to you for you to be able to operate Azure Stack in your data center. And below, I've listed a couple of things. First, there is actually an exam. You can certify yourself as an Azure Stack operator. I encourage you all to take that exam. And we have free training, many hours worth of training that's available for you if you want to prepare yourself to actually give that exam. I'd encourage you to actually go through the exam. And in all fairness, when we prepared the exams, a bunch of actually product PMs couldn't actually pass the exam. It's a good exam. There's a lot of good knowledge that you need to actually get before you can actually pass the exam, but it really provides you a robust base on which you can actually build your knowledge base on top of. All right? So now let's walk through a little more about what does the Azure Stack operator actually do. So what we have tried to list here is some high-level responsibilities of the Azure Stack operator. So the first and foremost thing you need to do is even before you acquire Azure Stack, you need to think about how big it needs to be, right? And what am I buying Azure Stack for? You need to think about how does it integrate into your network? How do you monitor? What is your monitoring policy and support or approach for Azure Stack? Then after you've got it in your data center, you need to think about what are the kind of services you're going to offer from Azure Stack and how are you going to package up those services. That's constructed in what is called as offers, quotas, and plans. Thereafter, you may want to actually have more than just IaaS available on our Azure Stack. So as an Azure Stack operator, it is your responsibility to identify, based on your business needs, what services you want to offer, and then you're responsible for deploying and operating those services as well. You can, of course, sub-delegate the responsibility to other people inside your org, but it is a part of the broad responsibilities of the Azure Stack operator. And then you have to actually make things like VM images available to your developers or internal customers who can actually deploy instances of that application from that VM image. You can either syndicate those images from the marketplace or actually create local images that are more relevant for your enterprise and so, or you as a service provider. And so those are all things, responsibilities as a part of the Azure Stack operator. You're required to patch and update it. You have to make sure that as you're monitoring the infrastructure, if it shows up with alerts, if it shows up with failures in disks, failures in hardware, you have to work with the hardware partner and make sure that those actually get resolved. If you have any issues, you have to call up Microsoft or the hardware partner for support, and there's work that you need to actually go make sure that you bring the stamp back up. And then you have to come up with an infrastructure backup policy for or rather you have to come up with an overall BCDR strategy for Azure Stack. And so there's work that you have to do to make sure that that is correctly configured, and then you have a way to validate that the backups that you take are actually correct and prove that they're okay from your perspective. And last but not the least, you have secrets in the system, like certificates, most importantly. And how many of you had an example of you running a workload or a website and the certificate expired on you? So you've seen it. Well, that is a different one, but seriously, certificate expiration is one of the most common flaws that people run into. And so we've provided an automation system for you to be able to get an alert that you've got a certificate that's expiring, and then we can roll through all your certificates, right? All right, so let's walk through each of these responsibilities in a little quickly. First and foremost, what are you buying it for? Like I said, you can buy an ASDK, which is a single server instance of Azure Stack, and the main purpose of this is to just provide you a dev test environment on which you can actually understand the basic concepts of Azure Stack. It is not meant for a production deployment. It doesn't have all the administrative functionality that you get with the multi-node system, but it does give you a good sense of the API service, so you can use that to actually understand what Azure Stack is all about. But a true multi-node system is the one that integrates in your data center. It's supported in production, and that's the one that you have to size and make sure that you have the correct number of servers, the right amount of memory, and the correct type of CPU that's required, and the correct amount of storage. So how do you size it? So you have to think about whether it's a connected environment or a disconnected environment. You have to think about what workloads you're going to deploy on it. Are you going to be deploying app services, SQL, IoT Hub, Event Hub, purely IaaS, what VM sizes? And then using that, you can actually use a capacity sizing tool that we have, which can allow you to give you an idea of how big of a system that you need, which you then go to your hardware partner with and actually get a system of that particular size. You have to think about offers, plans, and quotas. You have to think about your backup and DR strategy, and you have to think about who are you going to buy the Azure Stack system from, and then work with the hardware partner. My recommendation to you with is, if you're going to go for an Azure Stack system, bring in your hardware partner early while you're actually going through this, because they can work with you to make sure, work with your networking teams. They can make sure that you understand how it integrates into your network, because there are interesting things that come up that we have learned over time that are pitfalls when actually you don't go through all those details. So here are the things that you need to consider when you're from an integration perspective into your data center. You have to think about what's the business model. You have to think about, are you going for connected or disconnected, ADFS or AAD. You have to think about how are you going to integrate into your network, what IP space is required to be given, how are you going to monitor the system from a central station, or are you going to be looking into the monitoring portal that's available in Azure Stack? Those are all decisions that you as an operator have to think through, okay? So we've done a large number of deployments. And so this slide tries to capture some of the challenges that we have seen. So first thing is, please fill out the deployment worksheet before the hardware partner comes. We have seen examples where people just scribble some notes on the deployment worksheet, and then when the hardware partner comes in, they say, oh, well, that's not the IP space that I want to use. Well, that's not going to work. Then the hardware partner is going to get all upset, and then you're going to be going back and forth with your networking team, right? And trust me, you can't just walk up to the networking team and say, I need a /26 address space. They can't manufacture it for you. You have to give them the adequate time. They have to go through all the processes. So make sure you do that work up front. That is what makes your hardware partner's life easy for you to actually be able to deploy Azure Stack easily in your data center. We've seen an example where the hardware partner showed up and they didn't have the right amount of power, or actually they didn't have the power sockets available for that particular rack. So, yeah, these servers do require power. I mean, there's no way you can do anything without power. So please make sure that you have power available in your data center, rightly sized for the systems that you've bought. IP address space and firewalls. You have to make sure, we've got a very detailed guide, and I've provided links here, which actually shows you all the kind of IP address space that you require to connect in, right? A number of people buy this and then say, well, this doesn't come with the firewall. Yes, Azure Stack doesn't come with the firewall. How would you protect any asset that you buy? You normally put a firewall before you put it right on the internet, right? So use your basic system security principles that you use without, by not putting things directly on the internet. We had an example where a customer actually went and put the HLH on the internet, right? And here is an example of why the security system of Azure Stack actually works perfectly. The HLH got hacked, but the hacker was not able to actually get into Azure Stack because of the security profile of Azure Stack, right? So just use your, the normal systems that you put into place to make sure that you don't, that you have a boundary around Azure Stack from a security perimeter perspective. Yes, and you have to buy certificates, and you have to sometimes buy them externally, and that means you have to have budget. That means you have to go up to a manager and ask them for money, and you all know how that is. So make sure that you plan for that in time. All right. So I'm going to give you a very brief demo from certificates perspective, and this one I don't need to do any VPNing in, so it should be fine, hopefully. All right. So you require multiple certificates for Azure Stack, okay? Now, we've got a detailed guidance on how you can actually, what are the requirements for those certificates. But the easiest thing to do is we actually have a tool that we have developed, and we've developed it after painful experiences with customers who ordered the wrong certificates. So the easiest thing to do is to actually use the certificate generation tool, and it will actually, no, I don't need to log in. Insists. So the easiest thing to do is to actually have this tool generate the certificate generation request, right? Or as it's called as a CSR, certificate signing request. So if I go back, it's already started generating these. I'm just going to pick up one of these, right? And you can go to any certificate signing authority that makes sense for you. I just happen to know that Komodo as a certificate signing authority, you can actually paste your CSR here, and you can, when you decode the CSR, and it'll tell you what your decoded status is. So that means you've got a perfect CSR, right? So this is the best way to make sure that you're buying the right number of certificates and the right type of certificates. I'd encourage you strongly to use it. And later on, we have a session which shows you how you can use this tool to validate the certificates that come back from the signing authority. So use all these tools as an operator before the partner shows up to actually do deployment. Okay? I promised you I won't need VPN. I didn't need VPN. All right, let's go on next. So what are the tools that you will use as an Azure Stack operator? You primarily interact with Azure Stack as an operator using two types of tools. You have the user experience, a brief glimpse of which you saw previously. It's called the administrative portal. And you have PowerShell. Now, PowerShell actually comes in two flavors. You have the administrative PowerShell, which you use for normal functions, right? And you can load it up in any machine that connects to the ARM endpoint for the administrative endpoint. And you can actually use PowerShell to actually do everything that you can do from the UI, you can do from the PowerShell. But then we actually have another special endpoint called the privileged endpoint, which is also a PowerShell endpoint, but that is meant to be used generally when Azure Stack is somehow down, when your ARM endpoint is not up. Then you use the privileged endpoint to actually do stuff, to actually take corrective action from there, to actually bring Azure Stack up from there. So now that we have talked about privileged endpoint, I want to briefly touch upon some of the core security principles that we've used in Azure Stack. So first of all, Azure Stack is an appliance. That means the surface of Azure Stack that you interact with is all locked down, right? Our Hyper-V hosts are completely locked down. Their Defender policies are set up correctly for you. The ACLs are set up correctly for you. Most importantly, though, the philosophy that we have in Azure Stack is that it is not a matter of if we will get hacked, we will get hacked, right? And so we have built an approach which says that even if you do a hacker or were to break into Azure Stack, the amount of collateral damage they can do depending on where they come in from is very localized. So our strategy for accounts, our strategy for rotating certificates, our strategy for network control or ACLs that we place on the networks are all designed with an intent to make sure that even if the hacker breaks in, their amount of damage that they can do is highly localized and limited, right? And that's why we actually provide the privileged endpoint where you can actually do some steps in case ARM and Portal are down. However, a valid question that you can ask is, well, what happens if from a support standpoint you actually need to do more stuff? In that case, we actually have a classic locker system. So you are given a key, and we have a key from a support standpoint. When we both insert the key into the privileged endpoint, we can actually elevate the privileged endpoint and actually do additional tasks which are normally not doable from a privileged endpoint. And this is only done when we are on a support call with you, and we can actually go do additional diagnostics. But then before the support call finishes, we both turn the key back and the system goes back into its locked state. I'd encourage you all to actually go for a session which provides more detail from a security standpoint and what we have done from a compliance standpoint, right? At a very high level, what we have tried to do is to make sure that we give you all the technology controls which allows you to certify yourself from a PCI DSS standpoint or a cloud control matrix standpoint or from a FedRAMP high standpoint, okay? And if there's one advice I'll give you to make sure you're secure, keep it patched. Really, really important advice. Any system, not just Azure Stack, keep yourself patched because vulnerabilities are found all the time and you need to make sure that you keep yourself patched all the time. So let's quickly walk you through what an administrative portal looks like in Azure Stack. All right. Nope, I don't need this. All right. Okay. All right, so basically there are two portals in Azure Stack when you get Azure Stack. One is called the tenant portal or the user portal, and the other is called the administration portal. They are built using the same UI framework. However, the administration portal is specifically designed for you as operators to be able to operate and interact with Azure Stack, right? If it doesn't load in 10 seconds, I'm going to walk out from here, and then Thebes will actually walk you through a bunch of cases in the case of the Azure Stack portal, administrative portal. All right, I'm going to stay out of this. It's taking longer than anticipated, okay? So I'm going to go back to talking about Azure Stack updates, right? So updates are generally provided to you once a month, and we name them according to the month and year. So you will hear of a term called 1808. That means it comes in 2018 and it's the 8th month of the year. That's what 1808 basically means. They generally release once a month, but there are times where we actually skip a month just depending upon where we are and whether we actually require security updates from that particular case or not. Our support policy is really clear. You have to remain current. However, if you cannot remain current, we give you the ability to stay up to 3 months behind or 2 months behind. So you can stay, let's say we released 1808, you can stay all the way back in 1805. And for the astute, there is no 1806 mentioned because we did not release 1806. So it's not n months, it is actually n number of releases behind, n minus 2. Okay? So the updates can include anything from new capabilities, it will include bug fixes, and it will definitely include a security payload. the updates are non-cumulative. What I mean by that is that if you're sitting on 1804 and you need to get to 1808, you have to first apply 1805, then apply 1807, and then apply 1808. Okay? Hot fixes are issued sometimes when we find issues that happen in between the cycle of us issuing a full payload, and those are cumulative. Right? So you can apply the latest hot fix and you'll actually get all the hot fixes that have been issued for updates. And generally, hot fixes are issued for all the supported versions of Azure Stack. So let's say for 1808, 1807, and 1805, we find an issue, we'll issue a hot fix for all 3 versions. So you're safe regardless wherever you are. And the last thing is important to understand that firmware updates are actually provided as a separate payload. However, firmware updates from the hardware partners, they're integrating with our automation engine, so it'll make use of the same benefits of how we actually do the updates. So before I actually talked about how updates work, I first want to show you what we do to actually validate those updates before we fix. So we're a very large development team. We actually have our developers checking in code into the build, and we take in the Windows Server Patch Tuesday payload into our build, right? Because that's a key part of the security infrastructure that we bring in. Each developer in our in Azure Stack actually has access to a multi-node system. So they actually use that to deploy their code, and yes, they'll find some bugs. And yes, they'll find some bugs which the developer will fix, and they go through the cycle. Then the next thing we do is we've got hundreds of multi-node systems into which code from all the developer flows in, where we do integration testing, and it's continuously tested, right? And we find some bugs from that, we flow back to the developer, and we keep making sure that that happens. This entire cycle for us to actually release an update roughly takes about 2 months. The first month is about making sure that we get the code, and the second month is making sure that between us and the hardware partner, we do all the validation. So what you're seeing here is the entire 2 months cycle of what it takes to actually get the system out. The next thing is we actually provide these early builds to our hardware partners. So they all can actually start doing the validation. And thereafter, once we get closer to a build, we then deploy this to our long-haul system. The long-haul system is a system which is running with which started with 1709 and has been continuously updated since then. So it runs a synthetic workload on top, and we make sure that we can apply an update to that. And then Teebs talks about the self-host system that she is responsible for operating. That also is updated using this environment. And if we find any bugs from there, we fix them. And that is when you actually get your code. The core point I'm trying to make here is that there is a ton of validation that goes in before the code actually hits you, right? So just to give you an idea, our budget last year for hardware was about $30 million. This year, it's about $45 million. That's the amount of hardware that we run in our labs, different types of varieties, and that's just our hardware. Each of our hardware partners also maintain labs to make sure that they do the validation before they actually ship a system to you. So how does update work? So update works by first you download an update, and the update actually just contains of the update payload. We actually, on the Azure Stack system, we maintain a host OS image. We actually blend the two on the stamp as a part of the update payload, and we get a new VHD, which contains the new host OS image, right? So topologically, this is what a 4-server stack looks like, and we boot from VHD. That means we are not laid out flatly on disk. We have an NTFS file system on the boot drive, and then we've got a VHD from which we are actually booted off of, right? So the first thing we do when we have to patch these is we provide the new host VHD on all these systems, right? Then we actually drain the server. So we move all the workloads off of that server and vacate the server. And then all we need to do is we change the boot pointer to the new VHD because it already has got the updates. And then inside our management software, we actually maintain the configuration which we apply back to the system. And so the moment you do that, now you have a brand new updated Azure Stack system which is booted off correctly. Okay? And then you rehydrate the system back. So we circle through each of the servers. That's how update actually happens. And that's how we try and make sure that your workloads don't take downtime when we're actually trying to do an update. The next thing then we do is, just like we did image-based update for the hosts, we do the same image-based update for our own software. And that's how we actually patch the entire system. All right? So just to give you some sense, here is some data that we got from some of our customers on how long it took them to actually apply updates, the hot fixes. So these list you time in minutes. The longest one happens to be the 1808 hot fix, that should say hot fix, which took about 35 minutes to actually apply. To give you a sense of how much time an update actually takes, this chart actually shows you how much time an update takes, and this is in hours. So you'll see that going for this particular customer, going to 1808 took them approximately 35 hours. A rule of thumb is to roughly take about 2 to 3 hours per physical server. That's the rule of thumb that it takes for you to be able to update the entire system. So this one happens to be on a 12-node system. Okay? It's important to understand that our goal is to make sure that your workload is not impacted during this. And you need to think about how Azure talks about availability during the year. They talk about like either 99.95 or 99.9% availability. And that's what we are targeting to get to with Azure Stack from an update perspective. All right? So you've heard me talk enough. I'd like to bring on stage a gentleman by the name of John Gaggenau. He actually is from Telecom Telstra, and they actually used Azure Stack to host a very large sporting event recently in Southeast Asia. Welcome, John.
Thank you, thank you. Hi, Vijay.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
So tell us a little more about what does Telecom Telstra do?
Okay, Telecom Telstra is a joint venture between two large telecommunications companies, Telkom Indonesia and Telstra Australia. We are based in Jakarta, Indonesia, and we are providing managed services to enterprise and government customers throughout Indonesia, including hybrid cloud solutions, and Azure Stack is a key component of our hybrid cloud strategy.
So John, why did you pick Azure Stack?
Well, Vijay, a couple of years back, as part of the digital transformation, customers started approaching us about migrating to the cloud, but they did have some very specific concerns about data sovereignty. And at that point in time, Azure Stack started to be available as technical preview version 2 and 3. At that point, we realized the potential that Azure Stack is bringing into this space, and we joined the early adopter program and have been working with Microsoft since to implement and grow an Azure Stack business in Indonesia.
Cool. And what's your experience operating Azure Stack?
Well, we've been operating now the production version, the integrated system, for about a year. And there are many reasons why we love Azure Stack from an operator's point of view. For example, the redundancy that's inbuilt in the system at all layers, the physical redundancy, the virtualization redundancy, which then guarantees high availability of the platform and services for our customers. Importantly, the robust security that is designed and built in with all the hardened build, with the code integrity checks, with the defense in depth for tenant workloads, with the multiple layers of firewalling or traffic control, as well as the secure working practices, whereby no one has root access to the system and so forth. So altogether, this security package is giving us the ability to build trust with our customers, which is essential for our success. Equally important, we love the way the platform self-manages itself. The fact that this is pretty much an appliance. There is a lot of automation inbuilt for managing, say, workload management or automated failover in case of faults, as well as the automated patching that was just described by Vijay before, which then again helps us maintain a high availability system for our customers, as well as keeps our operating costs low. The tools, the operation tools, the portal, the DevOps tools, and last but not least, the great support that Microsoft actually provides for this product. Starting from the help desk interactions with the seamless escalations behind the scenes to various departments, product engineering, and so forth, which then gives us the confidence that whatever the circumstances, we are never left alone in looking after our customers. And it has given us the confidence then to build a business case around Azure Stack as a business in Indonesia.
Thanks, John. Really appreciate that, call out to support. Really appreciate that. So have you had any challenges with Azure Stack?
We did, and I guess one of the important challenges we discovered, we learned from, is the fact that as part of troubleshooting faults, we need to provide obviously logs to Microsoft support for them to be able to use their analytical tools to identify the causes of the fault and provide the fix. And what we learned is that we were struggling to upload the logs fast enough to Microsoft, and that was extending our outage time, for example, if there was an outage or abnormal functionality.
So, so what we did with John was that when they ran into this problem, we actually then provided a solution for them to be able to proactively upload logs. We came up with an approach, and so then they were able to work through, and we actually now, based on that learning, we are actually productizing that functionality to be able to get proactive logs from customers. So just an example of how sort of we learn from customers and try and fold that into the product. Thank you so much, John. Really
thank you very much. Thank you for having
so
me.
much.
Okay, thank you.
So the last thing I want to share with you is that now that you have an Azure Stack system deployed, and you may have multiple of them, how do you actually come up with a strategy to monitor these? And so the way you do that is you can actually pipe all the data that's from each of these Azure Stack instances to a single instance of System Center Operations Manager or Nagios, or you can build your own custom because all the information is available through REST APIs. And so that's how you actually build a centralized monitoring system, which allows you to then do centralized command and control for multiple Azure Stack instances. And many customers will actually take alerts that come into something like SCOM and then pipe them into an external ticket system like Service Manager or ServiceNow, so then you can actually build a whole lifecycle management. Alert comes in, ticket gets generated, email is sent to an operator, they click the ticket, go through the troubleshooting steps, and so on and so forth. So what I'd like to now do is actually hand over to Teebs, who will give you a demo of System Center Operations Manager.
Thank you, Vijay. Earlier today, I said that I own the self-host systems, right? The self-host systems are PM racks that the PMs use to understand the customer experience of Azure Stack. Now, in Azure, what we simply do is use and consume resources. But in Azure Stack, we have the operator portal. This is unique to Azure Stack, and it's my daily job to check on these environments. Now let's go through a brief demo of the administrative portal. As you can see, I have my quick start tutorials, which will give me a 5-minute brief overview of how do I do simple things like create a virtual machine, offer services. Now, Vijay showed you a little bit about this before, but I'm able to check in on things such as capacity. Notice that I have warning alerts that I'm able to look further into. As we know, the internet is a little slow today, so let's just wait for that to load. Here's my capacity portal. Now, let's also take a look at the update process that Vijay mentioned earlier today. The update process is so simple. When you're in a connected Azure Stack environment, our engine automatically detects when a new update is available and simply shows that an update is available. You can see that I've clicked on this update tile, which will load soon. Notice the number of things that we have on the side here. Here is the dashboard that you can customize to your liking. When you click on all resources, you're able to see all the resources that your tenants have deployed. Now, in addition, you have resource groups that you can customize. And the marketplace is something just like Azure Marketplace. As an administrator, you're solely responsible for making items available to your developers through the marketplace.
So Teebs, tell me one thing. So you're actually in the update tile. So what happens when we release an update? How do customers know that new update is available?
Exactly. So if you look right there, it says no results right now. This is because I'm on the latest build. Now, if an update were to become available, or a hotfix for that matter, it simply populates on that tile that says no results and says 1809 update available. And you simply click update now, and it's a very simple process. Now, as an administrator, we recommend that you plan when you run your updates and let your tenants know that you're doing a maintenance window. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about Marketplace in the future, but what the Marketplace management allows you to do is look at what items are available from Azure, as well as sideload images that you can make available to your customers. So enterprises sometimes have custom images that they want to make available to their developers. There's a way called sideloading the image that I'll show you later.
That's pretty cool. So what you're really showing us here, Teebs, is that you can actually download these images from Azure if you want to.
Exactly.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So how many of these images do we have there?
We have over a couple hundred.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool, huh?
So
And you can also load your own images, is what you said.
exactly. So now I maintain multiple of these systems on a daily basis. People come to me and say, Thebes, I have this pre-release build that I want you to run on this system, and I want to test out managed disks, which we just came out with, right? How do I do that? SCOM is the answer. Vijay talked a little bit about SCOM earlier, and I'll give you a brief demo. Microsoft System Center Operation Manager is a powerful management tool that not only allows you to manage all your Azure Stack instances, but it gives you notifications via delivery through email or other options. Now, not only does SCOM allow you to just get notifications and look at the alerts that you're receiving, but it also lets you remediate those alerts in line. So I don't have to go to the admin portal of Orlando and understand what alert I have and what are my remediation actions. I can simply click on these alerts, figure out what the age of the alert is, and then take remediation actions from here.
So
now,
to be clear, Orlando happens to be one of our self-host systems, right?
Exactly. It's an 8-node system that we use for validation purposes. Now, this is the health dashboard. I have 4 deployments of Azure Stack here, and I'm able to see the current version that my deployment is on, and also see that the update is available. Notice how earlier I was talking about when an update is available, it'll show up on that tile and say update is available. I can see that on SCOM as well. Now, when I go to the update status dashboard and click on a certain thing, I can click here and apply the update package from the SCOM portal itself. It saves me so many steps to going to the admin portal of that exact deployment and applying that package. In one pane of glass, I'm able to simply take remediation actions or apply maintenance things such as updates.
Cool. Right.
Now, in addition to the deployment and update dashboard, I'm able to see the scale unit dashboard. Now, all of the instances that I'm running are currently 8-node clusters, but in the case that you were to have various instances of different node Azure Stack offerings, right now we offer anywhere from 4 to 12, but 16-node, as Vijay mentioned earlier, will be available soon. We can see those nodes and the node health right here from the SCOM portal. Now, in the cases that we have to do through, right, you'll have to drain your scale unit node and live migrate those VMs over to the other instances of the nodes, right? And so this portal makes it so easy for me to drain the scale unit itself.
Wow, this is pretty powerful. How about you show us some of the other stuff that we're going to show us for Marketplace?
Sure. You're jumping ahead of the game, Vijay.
I'm watching the clock, Thieves.
Okay, so Marketplace management, as I mentioned earlier, is a one-stop shop for operators to make images available to your Azure Stack developers. Now, on the Azure Stack Marketplace, you're able to either add from Azure or allow for custom images to be available. So when I click Add from Azure, I'm able to simply search for whatever I want to download. In my case, I want to download a SQL Server 2014 instance, and I simply click download. Now that process is going to take a little bit, so I won't show you that. But In the case that, let's say I'm a disconnected Azure Stack deployment. I can't simply add from Azure because I'm no longer connected to Azure, right? So how do I go about making an image available to my developers and making custom images available to my developers as well, right? So I simply go to my storage account, search for my blob container that I've created, wait for it. Now you can see I've already created a blob container called my Red Hat image, and I've uploaded the VHD file in there. Now once I've done this, I simply take the URI for this, and I go into my admin portal, I go into compute, click on my VM images and create add image. Now once I click add image, I simply give all these details such as publisher, offer, version, and then give that blob URI. Now this image can be either uploaded in Azure or in Azure Stack. Now once I click create, I simply run a PowerShell script that says add gallery item once I connect to my management endpoint. And once that's done, it gives me all the details. Now, you'll see that here I've been logged in as the admin portal, as in the admin portal, right? Now, when I go over into my tenant portal and I click compute and browse all the images that are available to me, you'll see that the new Red Hat image is going to be available for me to deploy. Here we go, and I simply click create, and my Red Hat image is available.
So that's really cool. So what you really showed us is that besides syndicating elements from Azure, you can also create your own images that are local to you and specific with your software and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. So are you going to show us anything new that's coming in terms of templates and images?
Exactly. So Manny, who was sitting here earlier, was a bit excited and gave you a little sneak peek. But based on the demand from our customers about SharePoint and Exchange, we're announcing that Exchange 2016, SharePoint 2016, and Skype for Business are going to be available. In addition, we're going to provide SQL 2016 ARM template with always on available. So you can simply go to GitHub and get these templates.
Right, and to be clear, these are actually supported by the Office team. So they are validated, they are supported, so you just need to download, enter the parameters that are parameterized objects, and you actually have a supported instance of Exchange, SharePoint, and so on and so forth. Now, to be clear, this is not intended to replace an 80,000 user Exchange employment. This is meant to be for small-scale deployments of Exchange. Like I said, 250 users. Very cool.
Yeah. So in addition to the number of marketplace items that are available in the marketplace that I just showed you, Azure Stack, we offer a number of Azure services, including App Service, Kubernetes, serverless computing, Azure Networking, Azure Storage, Key Vault. We continue to bring new services to Azure Stack to be consistent with public Azure. We want to enable you to fully utilize the power of hybrid cloud. Now, Vijay mentioned a little bit about this earlier, right? Backup and recovery is a primary response of the operator of Azure Stack. Now, let's talk a little bit about what the BCDR story is for Azure Stack. As Vijay mentioned earlier, there's two layers, the top half and the bottom half. The top half is where the users have their apps, their data, and their services that are Azure consistent. You'll need to think about the top half workloads differently from the Azure Stack infrastructure. Now, as the operator, you are responsible for the bottom half and backing up the underlying infrastructure of Azure Stack. In addition, the HLH, the TORs, and the BMC using OEM scripts. Now, the infrastructure backup is used to back up the personality of Azure Stack, right? You simply provide the backup frequency and the number of hours, the retention period which you want to keep the data for, and provide a UNC share path that's about 140 gigs, and we will essentially back up your infrastructure for you. Now, What does backup of the Azure Stack infrastructure entail? It entails Azure Active Directory, the plans, offers, and quotas that you created, the RBAC roles and policies, the Key Vault secrets, the deployment ID, and the IaaS RPs and the PaaS RPs that you see here. Now, it is not used to back up the tenant workload. It only backs up the metadata that is required to recreate that Azure Stack in case something happens. Imagine that rain falls on your Azure Stack instance. We've actually had this happen to a customer, believe it or not. It happened to fall only on that one Azure Stack. But because they were using infrastructure backup, they were able to recreate that stamp and that personality of the stamp. Now, that recreation is going to take quite a bit because you have to engage your OEM partners, they have to deliver the hardware, they have to redeploy using this infrastructure backup. But imagine the power of infrastructure backup. You're essentially able to recreate it, and the time to recreate this is shortened down to several weeks based on how fast your OEM partners gets your hardware to you, right?
Very cool. Cool, so what we've been able to do today is just walk you through a little bit of sort of what does an Azure Stack operator do. We sort of gave you an idea of the overall topology of Azure Stack, the architectural choices we have made in the context of Azure Stack, and given you a brief glimpse of what an Azure Stack operator deals with in their day-to-day lives. And thanks to Steve, she was able to walk through the demo of the Azure Stack portal as well. So thanks, Steve, really appreciate it. You obviously have much better networking fingers than I have. So. All right, so we are at the end of our talk, and we'd be happy to take questions from you at this point. Yes, if you could walk up to the mic, that'll be great.
Why would you use? Wouldn't you use a scale unit with multiple scale units with 4 nodes instead of one scale unit with 16 nodes?
So the question is, why would you use a scale unit with 16 versus 2 multiple scale units? Well, the first thing is because multi-scale unit is not available right now. So if you were running out of capacity, then you have to grow up topologically that way, right? Other than that, what happened? There is no sort of, as we learn more in the context of multiple scale units, we'll be able to provide you better guidance under which conditions you would you prefer to actually have a separate scale unit as opposed to one scale unit of a larger size. Our recommendation currently is that it's better to grow vertically because you're not getting any additional redundancy or reliability when you actually go to multiple scale units. So our recommendation is you populate the first scale unit fully and then go out and expand to the second one.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Because the second scale unit is going to add additional cost burden to you because you're going to have to buy those additional spine switches. So our recommendation is populate one fully before you go to the second one.
Okay. Just one more question then. Do you need to add? Can you add one node at a time if you need to scale up?
Yes.
So architecturally, we support one node at a time, but you have to ask the hardware partner on whether they support one node at a time or they support multiple nodes at a time. That's their choice.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Vijay. They had talked about if you had a 2008 server, or if you moved it to Azure, that you would be able to continue getting security updates for 3 years. Would Azure Stack be considered part of that?
Yes. Azure Stack benefits from that functionality as well. So you can bring 2008 R2 and you get extended support on Azure Stack as well.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Vijay, currently the Azure Stack is based on the patch and update. Do any plan go for semi-annual channels update?
So your question is, will Azure Stack go to semi-annual channel?
Yes, correct.
But semi-annual channel is a Windows Server thing. That has nothing to do with Azure Stack.
Okay.
Azure Stack is responsible for bringing in the Azure, so the underlying operating system that we use for server updates, and we pick the right server for our instance. It doesn't matter to the customers whether we pick a LTSC or semi-annual channel. That's an internal detail for Azure Stack.
Okay, thanks. I have a second question about the marketplace. Currently, marketplace mostly is the bring your own license. Do there any plan go for pay-per-use license?
So the question is, for the marketplace, is there a plan to actually do pay-per-use license for third-party software, right? Right now, we don't support billing syndication for third-party software. Over time, we might, but right now we are just allowing bring your own license for third-party software.
The enrollment?
like I said, right now we are just exploring that opportunity. It's not a committed roadmap item just yet.
Okay, thank you very much.
Over time, it might get there. Whoa, what did I do? Yes.
So when it's deployed correctly and with the redundancy, is there a kind of indicative service level that you say you can get out of this, like 2 nines, 3 nines?
So we don't really make a claim about SLA because we don't operate the stamp. Microsoft, from an Azure perspective, can give an SLA guarantee because we have hands-on keyboard, right? So it's hard for us to be able to predict what kind of an SLA you will get because we don't control how it connects to your border devices, we don't control your borders, and it's very hard to discern what actually went down, right? But we are trying to establish a way to be able to give you some guidance on how you can calculate what that SLA is. But we haven't reached that maturity yet that we can actually give you that guidance just yet. But certainly something that we are working through.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions?
Yep.
Yes.
Are there any schedules to make these updates cumulative, like on Windows Server?
So the question is there any plan to actually make these updates cumulative? So you don't have to go through multiple update cycles to go from 3 to 7 by going through 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Right now, no. Right now, our primary investment is to make sure that we don't take any impact to your tenant, and we make patch and update the most robust and stable. Once we get past that, hopefully by the end of this calendar year, then we'll look at a couple of things. We can either explore reducing the amount of time it takes to apply the update, or we can explore cumulative updates. So we haven't finalized this yet, but I think it's good feedback. We can certainly take a look at that, but not immediately right now.
Okay.
Any other?
With protection for the workloads, does the Azure Stack support ASR?
Yeah.
Can we install ASR on the user workloads? And
Yes, you can. Time was cut a little bit short, but ASR is available on Azure Stack. It's in private preview right now.
Actually, it's GA. We GA'd it on the first day of the conference. So you can use ASR to replicate workloads from Azure Stack to Azure. So you can have a DR strategy which straddles Azure Stack and Azure. No, you can actually fail over there and then fail back. Now the failback may not be automated. You have to do some work to bring the failback, but absolutely we support failback. It's not automated though, if that's what you meant. Yes. The question is some other what? So the question is, can you use ASR as an orchestration engine to replicate between 2 Azure Stack site instances? Not right now, but that's on our roadmap. Any other questions? All right, folks, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming, and please do give us the feedback.